flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody.
Dan, are you there?
Present.
Okay,
Hey
good.
Dan.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit more here. Oh, I got it matched. Okay.
Take a look at the agenda. Is there any questions, additions, action? There's one addition, I believe, isn't there, Steve?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, I have one addition and one clarification for you. I handed out, and I think maybe even Nick brought it to the 2020 maintenance striping quotes. You have a copy of that. That's actually on his agenda, so I don't have to make that an agenda item, just to note that you have it. But I would like to add at 9:35, when Auditor Treasurer Reich is here, to put on the agenda, I have a request for a tax penalty abatement for action as well, and I did supply forward with a copy of that yesterday via email, and another copy, hard copy today for you. And Dan, you have a copy of both, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. And that is my only addition I have, Mr. Chair. Unless board
Okay.
members have others.
Anything else? Otherwise, we'll hear a motion to
So moved.
Okay, Les made a motion to
Second.
approve.
Chris?
And Chris? Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Now, the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd move for approval.
Second.
Luke and Les. Seconded.
Okay.
Any other discussion about the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, the motion passes. Then we have Nick.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
I have a few things here today. First one, just kind of curious, looking for some direction from the board. If you recall, last time it's about that time of year where we need to think about bidding out fuel. Last time we did that, we only had one bid. I'm sure they know that. They were the only bidder. If you want, we can try bids again like that. When you only have one bidder, they know that, and I think the price probably goes up a little bit, so we could either quote tankers or we could try the bidding again. You know, fuel's pretty low, so even if it was inflated a little bit, I think it might still be better, but
I don't know, I think you should probably bid it again.
Just bid it
You may
this
have
time?
someone else might want to bid this time, you just don't know, so.
Right.
But
okay.
I don't know, that's just my.
People might be a little hungrier for business right now.
They very well could be, but I thought it was worth asking the question since we only had one bidder last
Get
time.
6 months last time,
Yep.
time period, and that's ends in July, 1st of July, or when does it end?
Correct. Yep, I'd be back, I suppose that second Tuesday in June and set a letting for
Yeah,
probably the
So
last,
the new supply bid will start July 1st.
yeah,
Pricing.
correct, yep. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I think, do you need?
Mr. Chair, I've got a question for Nick, if you would.
Okay, go ahead, Dan.
How much room have we got in the tanks now? What capacity we got that we could fill?
I'm not sure exactly what's in there right offhand. It kind of depends on, say, we get a storm or something, we might go through more, like in the wintertime.
Have we used up all of our gallons from our previous 6-month bid, or are we still got some carryover there?
I would guess we've used that. We usually bid it to where they bid a certain quantity, and after that, it's a margin,
Yeah, right.
We usually leave enough. We usually need more than what we bid, just to make sure we can use it all up, so.
Right.
So I haven't checked on that, Dan, but.
I guess my thought is on because the prices are so low right now, if we've got any room in the tank, we should be topping it off.
Oh, sure. So it takes multiple tankers, not at once, but over the course of the 6-month span, if that makes sense to you. So we would, I don't know, a good way to say it, we'd have it's not like we have a tank that never gets full. We top it off all the time. Like, that a good, does that answer your question?
Yeah, you just keep them full.
Yeah, we just keep them full, yeah.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Just keep them full at your bid price.
Correct.
They just,
Yep, whenever we can hold another tanker, we just have them bring that in, so. Okay, so we will put a bid package together for that again. Next item I have, if you recall, a couple months back, we purchased a used semi-truck tractor for, we were gonna purchase a lowboy with it. We started with the truck, we found a used one. We looked at used lowboy trailers. There's not a whole lot to pick from, and the ones we found were pretty beat up. We found some decent used ones, but it seemed like if there was less life left in them than what they were asking, if you found a half used up one, they wanted more than half price on it type of deal. So we felt it was better off going with a new trailer there. We got 3 bids for that item. One for an Etnire trailer from Transource in Sioux Falls, one from RDO Marshall Towmaster, and then Nuss Truck Company, or truck out of Mankato. The prices were all pretty close there. The low bid was the Etnire from Transource in Sioux Falls. The second place one was RDO. As you see, they're about $1,000 off. The only thing I have to throw out there is the one from RDO and Marshall we could have end of next month versus the Etnire out of Sioux Falls would be end of September. So, the bulk of the construction season and use is probably gone by then. So I don't know, I'd probably go with the low bid.
Are the trailers comparable? Are they all?
Yeah, they are. It's apples to apples,
Yes,
yeah.
as far as that goes, I mean.
Yeah, but, an argument could be made to go with the RDO trailer, and have that kind of at the front end of the construction season, but, we've been without it forever, so never had one.
You
So.
still have the old one to use, don't you? Or you
Correct.
have an older one that you get by with, so.
Yep, we do.
Nobody's interested in trading that in, apparently. Have any value at all, or is it just?
Probably not worth a whole lot. It's had a number of repairs done to it over the year. We may want to sell it later, but, as we found out, say last spring, we were hauling our dozer and excavator around a lot to get the snow pushed out, to get ditches to drain. Well, this way we'd have 2 trailers we could haul each of them at the same time. So it wouldn't hurt to keep it around and just try it, and if it just sits there and we're never using it, then we just sell it.
You can always bid it out, some farmer
Yeah.
or somebody might be, like to have it to move stuff around.
I would
too,
think
you know.
that there'd be interest in it,
Yeah.
but,
So-
so that's my recommendation, just hang on to it for now. If we never use it, then we don't want it in our way, we'll just get rid of it, so.
So you could get by with your existing one till September if
Correct.
they're away, so that's
Yes.
not a big problem, so, okay. What's your wishes?
Mr. Chair, question for Nick, if I may.
Yep.
Comparing the 3 different trailers, did you take in consideration the quality of the tires? Are they all, I know on trailers sometimes you can get pretty cheap tires, so as long as you verify that all the tires are comparable.
Yeah, I did not do that. I would have to ask Doug. He and the mechanic did the research on this, so I'd have to confirm that with him, I guess. He's not here today, so.
Okay,
Well, maybe we could make a motion and approve whichever one decide here, and then just, you can verify the.
Contingent on the tire
Thing
thing.
is equal on them, and make
Yep.
sure there isn't something that stands out that's cheaper that, we
Sure.
don't wanna, for $1,000, we don't wanna get stuck with a piece of junk either, so,
Yeah. Yeah, we could do that, and then if, like the tires or what don't check out on that,
Sure that
then I'd
everything
just
is
come
right.
back and we talk about a different option.
The paint, or they're all steel trailers, I would imagine, and they're painted.
Yeah, I did ask him, and he felt that that is comparing apples to apples on all these, so.
Quality of the paint job makes a lot of difference too. Sometimes in a year or two, it's all rusty, and
Sure.
if they powder coat it or something, it would be lots more durable, but yeah, I don't know.
Usually on trailers, it's gravel or stone chips that starts to rust.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many axles on the trailer? 2 or 3?
I didn't ask, I guess. It was big enough to do what we needed to, so that's what I needed to hear.
2 axles for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's 2, but, or minimum of 2, I should say.
I presume they're duals.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody want to move forward on this, or?
I'll make a motion to move ahead with the low bid if the tires check out to be comparable.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, Les and Chris. Any other discussion? If there's a way to verify the
I can't.
type of paint job and some other things, and lighting, are they all, is that all pretty much comparable?
That's DOT.
Yeah, that'll have to meet a minimum standard, I'm sure.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Dan is in favor also, so, okay, thank you. We have a striping.
Yep. This is just our annual maintenance striping. I had 35,000 in the budget for this. We got 2 bids, one from Traffic Marking Service, one from AAA Striping. We've worked with both of these companies. I have no concerns with either of them, so I would recommend going with the low bid from Traffic Marking Service of $30,109.57. The only other thing I have to add there is it came in a little under budget because there was a road we were going to stripe, but that's scheduled to be striped, but that overlay needs to get moved up to next year. And the paint's good enough to get through another year, and I didn't really want to, paint it again just to cover it right up next year. So since it lasts another year, I took that out of the plan, so that decreased the quantity. So that's gonna save us a little bit here.
Okay,
Move for approval.
okay, Luke made a motion.
Second.
Les, second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes.
Excuse me. All right, next up, I'd like to set a letting date for 3 box culvert projects. The first one listed there is on our County Road 18. It's posted. It's just south of Highway 30. It's been a real inconvenience for truck traffic over the last year. We also have 2 other township bridges in the area we'd like to let with that. So I'd like to set a letting date for that for July 14th at 10:30 a.m.
So move.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
Les, second it. Any other discussion? Nick, is this south of the Diamond Corner?
Yeah, about
Aye.
a mile and a half. Yep,
Okay.
that's the one.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, Dan's also in favor. Okay, motion carries.
All right, my next item, they're contractors in for our gravel screening project. We're getting a good product. Things seem to be going good. So I'd like to look at increasing that contract by 10% if they're willing, which they usually are. So, or I think every time in the past they have been. Usually I go with 25%. I'm going with 10 on this one because we only had enough extra money to do. We have enough to do 25% extra on the gravel, and then the difference in that was about 10% on this. So I'd rather have the extra crush than this.
Okay, that makes sense as long as they're there. If you can
Correct.
afford it, you might as well get a little extra done, so.
Excuse me, yep. And then I did have a little note down here, it kind of, depending on the amount of stripping required. We did what we could with the time we had, and then we threw some dozer time in the contract, like to have them strip whatever's extra. So it's kind of hard to tell how much we were going to be able to get done ahead of time. So that's what that comment, depending on the amount of stripping required, means. So
Okay. I'd make a motion to approve the increase of 10%.
Second.
Luke seconded. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Thank you.
then the last thing I have is just a note. The city of Pipestone, and maybe you guys already know this, is looking at doing some type of housing development in the north part of town, right off of 8th Avenue. Have you heard anything about that yet, or? You have? Okay. Okay, so yeah, they're looking at doing a new subdivision down there, and then, it would require them cutting into our road for some water hookup, but they'll have to pay for that, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. They'll cut into our road, but they'll fix it, so. So, yeah.
They don't need any permission or anything, or they can, that would come in the future if they needed an easement to cross the highway or.
Yeah, they submitted a permit to me. I haven't signed it yet, but that'll be a stipulation I put in there that they take care of the patchwork, so.
I know you had asked about the flood plain in that area. It's
Oh,
not-
yes.
It's not in the flood area at all.
It's not, okay, okay,
Not
well,
on the flood maps at all.
I think the fringe gets maybe halfway through that field to the east, but that's like 1,000-year level, like.
oh, okay, well, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I forgot, I did ask that. I know there's, had flooding issues down there, so I started checking into that a little bit, like, well, we don't want to start.
So is
Question
most
needs
of
to
this
be asked.
development east of 8th Avenue?
Correct, east side of 8th Avenue, there's,
Kind of where the old Playmore used to be on further.
A little further south.
like, between our shop corner and Playmore Curve,
North.
kind of right in the middle, east side of the road is,
Oh, it will be,
Yeah, yep.
yep, that's the area. So. All right, well, that's all I had today, unless anybody's got questions for me.
would any future diversion channels or anything from the
That's gonna be more
old
water.
flooded area to that part of the
Take that into account.
community raise any concerns over there in the new area? If they decide to do something to divert some of the flood water, is there any, one that's looking out for? The
Boy, I
city
don't-
must certainly know what they're doing, I would hope, but
Yeah, I'd have, it's kind of a narrow gap they'd have to shoot there if they wanted to run a diversion there. And I don't know how that works out elevation wise either, so I can't imagine that would be an area they'd want to use for that, so.
Do they take into account that if you have a bunch more paved surface, like on the hill above where Chris lives and some other homes are, that, obviously it's gonna create more runoff
Yeah, I think that's what, like,
going down to those homes?
I believe that's why like Walmarts and stuff they'll have a pond, fenced off pond somewhere that's
Right.
for, it's like a retention pond or whatever for that purpose.
Is that included with this project, or?
I don't know. I didn't have anything to do with putting that together. Just they asked if they could cut into our road to hook up water for the people. So that's about all I know about it.
Maybe just something to ask about, and
Yeah, I can ask them.
I know, our neighbors are some pumps run year-round already. It's how low it is over there.
I bet.
this is a little bit related, but has there been any updates on the ditch cleaning procedure? Are we from the,
Ditch committee has not met due to the COVID-19, so we can get together in June is what would like to
nice
see
to
us
kind of
do.
have it up so we kind of know if we've made some progress there? It would be nice to see it cleaned up and,
Progress was made, the trees were trimmed down, so that part the city did comply with that. The only thing they didn't remove when I went and looked is there's a large tree hanging over the ditch, probably, I don't know, 500 feet north of the 9th Avenue Bridge. You can kind of see it across there.
Okay.
I don't imagine they probably went into the ditch to do that, but they took everything off the sides that they could and trimmed them down. Most of the stumps are like that up, so.
But we had budgeted the county had budgeted some money too for the ditch work, right? This year?
Yeah, there was over $30,000 that we put into the budget
Has that been
for the ditch budget.
used? Have we done
No.
anything with that, or?
Nope, that's still in there for 20.
Okay. Be kind of nice
The
to,
ditch committee needs to meet to actually authorize going to get the bids for
okay, the
the
work. or-
ditch cleaning, and they have not met to do that yet.
Okay.
So the ditch committee needs to take action on that.
Would be good to get going on that, so we get it done before some other,
Big rain comes.
yeah. What I was thinking.
It's kind of a high priority.
Yeah.
Ditch committee meeting will be set for June.
Okay.
If we have to do it virtually, we'll do that as well. All of our farmers that are on the ditch committee should have their fields all planted and taken care of by now, so.
Because these storms can, well, we never know what's coming, so we just have to be as prepared as we can be, I think, so. But anyway.
Just one other thing we can add to that, I think I sent you a notice on it too, that the Highway 75 bridge project
Right.
is set to start, I believe, the first,
July 6th.
July 6th.
Right after the 4th of July, right?
Right after 4th of July, which is actually later than we originally told, if I remember right. They were telling us, and my notes are going back, was May it was gonna start, so
Okay. Yeah, I know I've seen different dates. I can't remember what the last one was, but I know this one you're saying right after 4th of July.
That will not affect the railroad bridge, will it, in any way? If I recall, that stays.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, I doubt they could get approval to do that.
That's a limiting factor too, is how much
Yeah.
water can come through there.
Oh, correct. Yeah, it's like a choke down point, if you will, whatever, so.
Notice they put a bunch of mesh on it, on the east side of it, too.
Yeah, I didn't ask, but I would assume
Nets or
that's
something?
bird nets. Keep the birds out of there. Once they start roosting, then you can't take it down, or I don't remember what that
Anything else for Nick
requirement was.
today?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank Jared for his little extra help.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have a little bit of time before Tyler will be here. We got time for Kathy? Do you have something you can squeeze in for?
Morning.
Morning.
I just have some quick hiring updates. So we will be hiring Colton Rates is the name of the individual who's going to be helping out with the maintenance department this summer as our temporary building grounds maintenance worker. And he is going to be starting tomorrow. We did decide not to fill the assessing office summer position just because they're not going to be viewing property this summer. So we elected not to fill that position. And then the highway intern position, we did have one good candidate for that, but she ended up taking another opportunity somewhere else. So we're not filling that position either. They think they can get by without it this summer. So just an update on those. Right now, we just wrapped up the advertising for the highway maintenance supervisor position. So we're going to be reviewing those applications this week and hopefully interviewing for that next week. I think that's pretty much all the updates for that right now.
Did you get many applications for that?
We got 4, so not a lot, but I think they're all fairly good candidates, so, yeah.
Okay, anything else? Need any motions or anything today, just information?
I don't think so, just information for your knowledge, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Steve, you got anything, like on the COVID thing, or?
Sure. I've got 2 documents for the board to approve today. One is our COVID-19 preparedness plan, This is even though we are loaded with essential employees, we still have to have a written plan. So I worked with several of our counties around us and came up with COVID-19 preparedness plans for Pipestone County. It involves screening and policies for our employees that may exhibit signs. Also talks about hand washing as well, how to hand wash, respiratory etiquette. Along with that, we have masks available. In case you got a whole bunch of masks from the state of Minnesota that came from the company Hanes, the underwear people. They're a white cloth mask. Looks like they're made similar to like t-shirt material, a little bit thicker than that, but with elastic on them. So we got like 250 of those. So we will have masks once we get started here too. And Kathy's church, go to the gals from the church, made us a batch of 25, which have already been handed out, and then we requested they make 40 more for us. They're really nice little masks, like colorful ones, so you might see staff wearing those around the building if you're around there, so that's nice to have too. Obviously, we're social distancing this week. Haven't talked to Wayne this morning on it yet, but our contractor should be coming in this week to start the construction of our barriers, sneeze barriers, cough barriers in the offices. So that'll be going on. Housekeeping, Candy is taking care of cleaning, and then the departments are required to clean their own areas around their own keyboards, counters, all of their doors, touch screens, that type of thing where they're working on. Candy takes care of the public spaces, and the offices take care of their own spaces for cleaning. They've got tons of wipes. We have lots and lots of hand wash now, hand sanitizer. Got a bunch of that in, so we're doing good on supplies right now. Have been getting a few boxes of gloves from EMS for those staff that need them. Learning some new things about the coronavirus and how it, and if it even does maintain itself on papers and cardboards and things like that. Apparently, once it dries off, it becomes inert coronavirus, but once it's dried out, it is not infectious. So that's not the issue it was reported to be earlier on in the episode. So that's becoming not as big of an issue, but we do have gloves available for any personnel that feel that they would like to wear gloves when they're dealing with mail and that type of thing. So we want to make sure that we have a comfort factor with our people. And we're encouraging all the staff, if they have questions, anything at all, reach out to Kathy, reach out to myself, their department head, and we'll get them the answers they want, because we just want to make sure they have the right message. Because not necessarily what you read on the internet and what you see on TV is always 100% correct too. And we're following, the information we're getting is from trusted sources such as Minnesota Department of Health, CDC, WHO, those are the ones we consider our trusted sources. So, but there's a lot of, not necessarily call it misinformation, but some of it is, I think, that may not be correct. So along with that, I also prepared an addendum which goes into a little bit more specifics about what we're doing, and a schedule is, originally we had hoped that we would be able to be open for appointment only this week, but since our barriers aren't up yet, it doesn't make any sense to do that. We're still taking appointments. The treasurer's office is the main office that's taking appointments. They started right away, actually last Monday, when driver's license was opened up by the state, so they could start doing that. So they have been taking appointments. The doors are still locked. They've been taking the appointments by phone. They've been calling in and scheduling about 30 minutes between personnel to do that. And generally, they've been going from 9 a.m. to noon and then 1 to 4. So I can get some time in the morning, get some things done, and then ending at 4 gives them time to do other items too, part of the treasurer's duties they need to do as well. Now, the auditor's office is open by appointment for those that wish to file for office, which is through June 2nd. So they're able to do that, and they also are mailing out, if needed, packets for those filing. And so far, as of Friday, the only filings they had were on day 1. So the way they said it's probably the last ones we'll see will be on the last day of it, because everyone wants to see who's filing before they file. So, but what we went through here is taking some latitude from our other county friends, Murray County, Rock County, is that the sneeze barriers are going up. Bullet point number 1, those will be going up this week, and we'll have some portable ones at Veteran Service, the Assessor's Office, Environmental Services, Soil and Water. They've decided they aren't going to use any at this point, so we won't have to worry about a portable one, but I did leave it in there in case they decided they wanted to do something. Our drinking fountains will be shut off. The bathrooms up by law enforcement will be the public bathrooms. The bathrooms in the lower level of the courthouse will have signs on those that say employees only on those. So we've got public and employee only bathrooms is what we'll split up on that. Talked with Kathy. She's going to help do some signs about social distancing, where entrances are, exits are, that type of thing. If needed, we're going to put up a couple of tables in the main hallway, one near the license center, one near the recorder's office, if needed for persons to do paperwork before they go in. We're only going to allow one person at a time to come in.
Mr. Chair, I got a question for Steve. Would MCIT have any of those signage available and stuff like that? I know they've done that in the past with like slips and stuff like that, provide a lot of materials.
We've found a lot of them on MDH, Minnesota Department of Health site. We've noticed them before on signage. For wash your hands, those that wear a mask, all those kind of things. So, but the directional signs and that type of thing where we want people to go is we'll have to make those up. We already have hand sanitizers in all the rooms, so we're in good shape there. How we're going to enter the building, how the public is going to come in, the two annex east doors will be the main entrance to the building. Kathy and I had a discussion with courts in this a while back. When they're ready to open, they do not want any persons using the stairs to go up to courts. They want everybody to come up by elevator. And figured, well, that would be the easiest way to do it. Everybody just comes in that door, goes up one level to the other elevator, and then they can go up from there. As far as how the people are gonna come in, some staff are not too happy about it, unfortunately, but we're gonna let them in, but when their appointment is ready, we'll have to go down and have people let them in and then escort them out too. So other counties have noted that people have gone in to do one thing and then decided they wanted to go to another office and do something else without an appointment. So they have to have an appointment for each office, is what we're trying to do. So there'll be some steps to get down to the door, let them in, and then get them back out of the building again when we're done. But we wanted to have that just one point of entrance, a lot easier to wipe down the elevator than all the railings, the steps, and all that stuff too. So, and it'll make it easier, we think. We're going to strongly encourage visitors to wear a face mask. If somebody doesn't have one, we will have some of those Hanes masks around. We can give them if they need it. But as to mandate, it's really hard to mandate something where there's no law that says you have to, but we'll strongly encourage them to wear masks for their safety and our safety as well. So some of the items we're working on there. Tyler's here to talk about the other stuff.
Okay. While we're here, Steve, do we need action on this preparedness plan at all, or is that?
Yes, I would like a motion to accept the preparedness plan and the addendum.
So moved.
Okay, Luke made a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Luke and Dan,
Okay.
any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Is that pretty well it for you, Steve?
That's
Okay.
fine, thank you.
And we have Tyler, he's ready to tell us about a tax abatement hearing and some other tax issues.
Morning, everybody. All right, so first thing, I guess we'll start with the public hearing for the home abatement request. Received this from Doug Gorder, parcel number 11.023.1100. Annual abatement amount is $671 for the total abatement estimate at 2013. Just looking for public hearing set at 10 a.m. on June 9th for that.
I'll move.
A motion
Second.
and a second. Chris and Les. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
And you do have all the information that Tyler presented me for basically for the hearing in your package. as
Right, and
well.
everything
Okay.
there, so.
Perfect. All right, so next thing would be the community lease with the DVS department for use of the community room for the driver's exam. Obviously, they come here on Thursdays. This is an exact same copy of the one that we already have, so it's $400 a month or a quarter for $600 per year. We just need approval for that because that will end this year. So just looking for approval
Okay.
to renew that for another 3 years.
Nothing's changed, we just have
Nothing's
to
changed.
redo it.
Nope.
So,
Move to approve.
okay, Les made the motion to approve.
Second.
Luke seconded. Any other discussion?
Question for Tyler, any idea when they're gonna open up testing at all? Heard anything?
Well, testing, they opened up 16 throughout the state. The closest one here is Lyon County. So if they want to actually schedule any type of exam whatsoever, the closest you can get to is Lyon County. I do know Lyon County is swamped right now, just with the people from their own county. So it's really hard to get an exam scheduled for anybody in our area. When they're gonna open back up for Pipestone and Rock County, so on and so forth, I have no idea. They don't really tell us a whole lot about these decisions, to be completely honest with you. We just kinda,
That's a decision made by the state.
it's completely state-driven. It's their decision if they want to do this. But like I said, they did want to renew the lease, so I think they're going to come back eventually. When that is, we have no idea. I don't even think they really know when it's going to be. So it's going to be a hassle for people. As of right now, the only thing that our office is doing is renewals of the license. So, and we're just going to go with, that's our plan moving forward until we hear from the state otherwise, so.
Okay. Any other questions for?
And the only other thing that I have would be the year-end fund balances. We just need to have our restricted and assigned fund balances passed by the board for the audit. We had the auditors on location last week. Obviously, it was virtually. So this is just one of the processes that we have to have for the restricted are the ones outside funds that are set aside for a particular purpose that we have to do. And the assigned are the assignments made by the department heads, whether they set aside for ambulances, for example, setting aside $45,000 a year to purchase a new ambulance.
Tyler, I think we still have to vote on the lease thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't
Yep.
know if there's any other discussion first,
Yep,
but
I
that's fine.
apologize.
We have a motion and a second,
Yep.
so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
and then
And then I just needed a motion in a second, or.
balance thing?
Yep.
Move for approval.
Okay,
Second.
Luke and Chris. Okay, any other discussion on the fund balance issue? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, perfect, thank you.
Okay, motion
And that's all I had for you.
Tax abatement request that you guys came in yesterday.
Oh, that just came in yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, you want to discuss this too, or we can? Okay. So this was, I'm guessing everybody has a copy of this. So this is for an individual who lives in Canada. I know you probably have read the email, so you kind of know exactly what we're doing. They indicated that they would like their penalty abated because they didn't have access to their property tax statement. I, however, would highly recommend not approving this for the simple fact all of our tax statements are online. They also could have given us a call to figure out how much their taxes were due. Taxes due date has always been May 15th. They've owned the property for a number of years. There's other ways to get your property tax amount instead of just saying that I didn't get a hard copy in time. That's my stance. I highly recommend not approving the late penalty abatement request from them, but that is the board's decision, not mine. So I just think as you're opening up a slippery slope if you start
It's a good-
eliminating.
You set a precedent if we do permit it to be, let it pass, but on the other hand, they haven't been a habitual offender either, have they? It's something that,
No, they haven't. I
blame it on
mean,
the COVID or whatever, but there is some confusion right now with
correct.
a lot of people with taxes and things due right now and registration.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I understand that, but I mean, they didn't try to reach out to figure anything out. They just, when they got across the border, they got their tax statement. They assumed that they would be abated because of that. But I mean,
You
we're.
always know they're due the 15th of May.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chair, I've got a question for Tyler, if I may.
Yep.
Is it within our jurisdiction to waive this penalty, or there's no state statute that says that we could or can't?
It's completely board decision if they want to waive the penalty or not. It's
So
how the law is written is that any individual who has a late penalty can petition the board to have it abated. That's the only thing that you can abate by the board's decision. Yep.
There is state statute to that effect that allows that to happen. Dan?
Okay, thank you. And do I also understand then that not only did they send the payment then for the first half, but they've also sent the payment for the second half already as well?
that is my understanding. They mailed it, so I don't know if they actually mailed for the entire year's taxes or just the first half, because we haven't actually received the payment.
It's kind of what I understood from reading that letter, that
Yep.
they were going to send both.
Correct.
So you haven't,
I know it's not a lot of money, $141, but I do believe that with the extenuating circumstances, the confusion and so forth, and I understand your position, Tyler, you hate to set a precedent, but I think there's enough extenuating circumstances in this case that I personally would be in favor of doing it. In fact, I'll go ahead and make the motion to that effect, that we do approve the leniency in this point and that we don't penalize them.
okay, Dan has made a motion to approve the late payment
For $141.
fine.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Second.
Okay, Chris is second it. Any other discussion?
Question.
Luke?
Is it pretty common knowledge about the availability of the information online and whatnot, or?
Yes, it's common. We've had our property tax statements online for the last at least 10 years. And I mean, we have several people call us to figure out their tax amount every year. I mean,
Right,
it's very
obviously,
common
if they're
knowledge where we're at.
phone call.
Exactly, to figure this out. The taxes are always due May 15th. I personally, again, I will say I vehemently did not go against this, because now you're kind of opening the door for anybody saying, well, I just didn't get my stuff in time.
Right.
I'm against it, but like I said, it's completely your guys' decision. So I can see it opening the door for multiple requests for abatement moving forward. But
Mr. Chair, again, part of my rationale is, first of all, we can't always assume that everybody has computer access. That's why you do send out hard copies. Tyler, I completely appreciate the concern about setting a precedent here that we might have an onslaught of this. But I really do believe that for this small amount of money and for the goodwill and because there, again, is extenuating circumstances, them not being able to get their mail, and all the confusion going on right now, that's why I made the motion to approve. So I do feel it's worthwhile doing. And if we have other instances come up with other people with similar extenuating circumstances, we certainly could consider that as well.
I guess my extenuating circumstance is that they simply didn't get their mail, and many people could use that argument in the past, saying that they just didn't get their hard copy. I understand that they lived in Canada, but I guess I'm just against this.
Even with no internet access, you still would have phone access.
Correct. There's ways that they could easily pay this on time.
And you know, it's May 15th and October 15th. That's not gonna ever change.
Again, that's just my 2 cents. It's the board's decision.
Okay, do we want to have a roll call vote on this so we know what we're doing?
Sure.
Okay. Chris, you want to, we'll call for a vote. A or nay?
Yay.
No.
I would also vote no.
No.
And Les is no. Dan?
Yes.
Okay. The motion fails 3-2 then, so.
All right.
I
Thank you, gentlemen.
feel for these people and all that, but we do have to, we do have a lot of other issues going forward here. We may be, like you say, have some concerns about what's going to happen down the road
Exactly.
here. So
Yep. I mean, I understand it's,
It's not a huge amount of money and we
I don't want to act cold-hearted, but I want to be fair for everybody. So
okay. Anything else, Tyler?
that's all I have.
Anybody got any questions for Tyler while he's here?
You contact the Casanovas and.
Yes, I will contact them. I'll reach out to them.
Good, thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Have a good day.
And you haven't received the check actually yet anyway, either?
Nope, they mailed it last week.
Okay,
So,
but they, so you don't know that either for a fact?
correct.
Okay.
Whether they
We're
actually
not
mailed it or
saying
not.
they- Yeah. so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, other business. Minute Krantz Dam report?
Yep, Mr. Chair, grab that out of here. Should have a copy of that in your packet. This is an annual that comes up. It was inspected on May 14th of 2020. go through annually and visit it and look at different items like the crest, upstream slope, and then make any remarks on it. It says there's one tree on the east end of the shoreline that'll have to be addressed. They're unable to get to the downstream slope because of, on item H, the foundation, dry drain that's underwater, so they can't check that. One issue we have on the intake structure, there's a picture of that as well. It's called the trash rack. I don't know a whole lot about dams, but it looks to be a metal device on top that catches debris and that type of thing that apparently is loose. And I did email Nick and Doug on that right away to see if the highway department can effect a repair of that at some point when they can get there safely and if the water goes down enough. And beyond that, there was talked about some small cedar trees that need to be cut down in the spillway area. And on the very bottom, they don't have a key, so they had to lift up the gate. So work with Kyle and we'll get a key over to Area 2 so they have one for the gate, so they don't have to modify the gate or lift it to get in, so they can just use the key that the highway shop has. So their recommendations is to reinstall the trash rack, remove the trash that's blown into the spillway. Blue tarp and a white plastic barrel were noted, so it just needs a little bit of maintenance there. Spraying of the trees and brush is an annual. Tom Sando spraying out of Marshall does that every year. Same organization that also sprays the ditch for debris as well. So, and sometime there's an epoxy at the end of the conduit. Needs to be done when it dries out, but that's been on the list for at least the last 3 years. We haven't had low enough water to even affect the repair on it. So once those are done, generally, and Kyle at Soil and Water takes care of all the maintenance and repair and all that at the ditch. But I did want to reach out to Highway if there was any welding that needed to be done on that trash rack to see if they could affect that. So I'd recommend that we approve the report, authorize me to sign it, and I'll send it back to Area 2.
Mr. Chair, I'd move for approval.
Okay,
I will second.
Luke made the motion and Les seconded it.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
Dan. Anything else to come before the board this morning?
I have nothing else, Mr. Chair, at this time.
Okay. Kathy's not waving her hands or anything, so. All right. Anybody care to adjourn? Les made the motion to adjourn. Second. Luke second. All in favor say aye.
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 9:47.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thanks, Dan.